In 100 days in 1994, 1 million people were killed. The world watched and did nothing. Then Rwanda decided to rebuild anyway and became the most extraordinary recovery story in human history. Rwanda is one of the most densely populated countries in Africa, a land of 1,000 hills, extraordinary beauty, and ancient kingdoms. The Rwandan Kingdom of Nyiginya had existed for centuries before European contact, a sophisticated monarchy with its own legal code, cattle economy, and oral history tradition. Rwanda had a single language, a single culture, and a shared identity. Then Belgium arrived. In 1933, Belgian colonizers introduced identity cards classifying every Rwandan as Hutu, Tutsi, or Twa, categories that had previously been fluid economic distinctions transformed overnight into rigid racial classifications. The card that would eventually help identify people for slaughter had a colonial origin. On April 6, 1994, a plane carrying Rwandan President Habyarimana was shot down over Kigali. Within hours, Hutu extremists began systematically killing Tutsi civilians. The genocide had been planned for months. Lists of names, weapons pre-positioned, radio stations broadcasting orders to kill. In 100 days, between 800,000 and 1 million people were killed, mostly with machetes, at a rate faster than the Nazi Holocaust. Neighbors killed neighbors, teachers killed students, churches became killing sites. The world knew. The United Nations had troops in Rwanda. They were ordered to stand down. When the genocide ended in July 1994, Rwanda was a country of ruins and ghosts. 1 million dead, 2 million refugees outside the borders, another million internally displaced, the economy destroyed, the government gone, the judiciary gone, the infrastructure gone. Over 130,000 genocide suspects in prisons built for 12,000. In villages across the country, survivors lived beside the people who had killed their families because there was no other Rwanda to go to. The question was not whether Rwanda could recover. The question was whether Rwanda could even continue to exist as a country. Rwanda chose an extraordinary path. The new government under Paul Kagame abolished the ethnic identity categories. It made genocide denial illegal. It created the gacaca courts, 12,000 community courts based on a traditional Rwandan conflict resolution system, to process over 1.2 million cases in the open air, in the villages where the crimes occurred, with survivors and perpetrators present simultaneously. Rwanda chose truth over convenience, proximity over distance, community over tribunal. It was the largest community justice process in human history, and it worked, not perfectly, but well enough to build something on top of. What Rwanda built in the 30 years after the genocide is genuinely extraordinary. GDP per capita has grown from $416 in 1994 to over $2,200 today, more than a five-fold increase. Life expectancy doubled in 20 years. Rwanda has the highest proportion of women in parliament of any country on earth, 61%. It became the first African country to ban plastic bags in 2008. Kigali is now one of the cleanest and safest cities on the continent. On the last Saturday of every month, the entire country stops work for Umuganda, a mandatory community service day where every Rwandan cleans and repairs their neighborhood together. It is the cleanest country in Africa. It was the worst place on earth 30 years ago. Every year on April 7th, Rwanda stops. For 100 days of national mourning, one day for every day of the genocide, the country remembers. Not to remain in grief, but to ensure it never becomes ordinary. The hills are still there. The gorillas in the Volcanoes National Park still move through the ancient forest. And the children born after 1994, the generation who inherited a country their parents nearly destroyed, are building something that 30 years ago seemed impossible. Rwanda is not finished. It is just beginning.